I pretended to be pregnant for money and love and ended up with neither. Hi, Reddit. Yeah, the title's bad. I know. Please don't come at me with moral lectures. I'm not here to win any awards for being a good person. I just really need advice from someone who's maybe been through something similar or knows how to handle this kind of situation. So here's the deal. I'm Alyssa, 30F, yoga instructor in NYC. I've been with my boyfriend Kyle, 32M, for about 6 years now. He's a sweet guy, aspiring novelist, kind of the quiet artsy type. We've been living together in Brooklyn for a while. He doesn't have much money, but he's loyal and predictable, and I guess that worked for me for a long time. The problem is, I want more. I'm not saying Kyle is bad. He's sweet, and he does contribute. He works part-time at a coffee shop nearby, covers groceries most weeks, and he's always been supportive of my app, even when it's been, well, kind of a mess, but he's just small, safe, stuck. His book has been almost done for 3 years. He hasn't had a real full-time career job in forever. It's like he's always chasing something abstract while I'm out here trying to build something real, even if it's bleeding money and crashing in the demo half the time. I've been the one pushing, making calls, networking, trying to get noticed. Meanwhile, he's got flour on his apron and a screenplay and his Google Docs no one's ever read dot, and I just don't see that ever changing. I don't think he'll ever be able to give me the life I want. Not in this lifetime. I want it out, or at least up. Last summer, my cousin Tessa, she's 29, invited Kyle and me to her family's beach house in the Hamptons. She's my cousin from my mom's side. Our moms are sisters. But honestly, we couldn't have grown up more differently. Tessa had everything. Penthouse apartment, private schools, ski trips, summers abroad, all of it. She's one of those girls who's always perfectly put together in that effortless way. Beach waves, linen sets, gold hoops, always looking like she walked out of a lifestyle blog. And she does that fake sweet thing, always smiling, always asking about your little business in that tone, like she's being supportive, but you can tell she thinks she's above you. I've honestly hated that fake nice act since we were kids. Anyway, her fiancé, Zach, was there. He's 34, works in luxury real estate, drives a Porsche, smells expensive, talks like a guy who closes $1 million deals in his sleep. And the second I saw him, I was like, yeah, okay, that's what I've been missing. And I swear to God, I could tell he noticed me too. Like we'd lock eyes and I just knew. And then I looked at her, in her flowy linen dress, doing her cutesy little hostess thing, and I couldn't stop thinking, why does she get all this? I've always thought I was hotter than her, not even being petty, just honest. She's fine, she's cute, but it's like soft cute, safe. I have curves, personality, edge. I'm not boring dot. And the truth is, I've always felt like she only has this life because her mom married rich dot. My mom married my dad for love and ended up broke and miserable. Meanwhile, her sister married a guy with money, and now Tessa's coasting through life with everything handed to her. So yeah, sometimes I wonder what the hell my mom was thinking. After that weekend at the beach house, I couldn't stop thinking about Zach. I know he was engaged to my cousin. Believe me, I do. But I also knew, like really knew, that he wasn't in love with her. You can just tell when someone's checked out. He played the part, the forehead kisses, the casual PDA, the Instagram couple shots, but it felt like he was going through the motions. And when she wasn't looking, his eyes were on me. I'd catch him looking when I was walking past in my bikini, or when I'd say something clever at dinner. It wasn't subtle. I saw it, and I knew what it meant. When we got back to the city, I waited a couple of days, then texted him. Thanks again for hosting. That was the nicest weekend I've had in a while. He replied in under a minute, You made the weekend fun. I sent a blushing emoji back, then left it alone for a bit. A few days later, I found this stupid meme about overpriced apartments in Manhattan and sent it to him with a, This feels illegal but true. He laughed, told me I was hilarious. I said, I'm full of surprises. That was the start. After that, the messages picked up. Nothing crazy at first, just little things. I started posting more stories, not in-your-face thirst traps, but like strategic. A shot of me stretching in a sports bra at the studio, or laying on the couch with wine, showing just enough skin. A slow-mo hair flip with a playlist in the background. He replied every time. Looking strong. Bet you break necks at the gym. That color on you is insane. He was subtle about it, but not really. One night, Kyle and I were eating dinner and he asked why I was so much into social media all of a sudden. I laughed and said, "It's branding, babe. The algorithm eats this up." He believed me. A few days later, Zach texted, "Hey, want to grab coffee this week? We can talk app stuff. I might know someone who's interested." I told Kyle I had a meeting with a guy who worked in marketing who used to invest in health startups. Zach and I met in Soho. He was already sitting outside, sunglasses on, iced Americano in hand. First thing he said was, "You look amazing, by the way." I played it cool. We talked about the app for 5 minutes. Then we just drifted. He asked about my yoga classes, where I grew up, where I saw myself in 5 years, that kind of thing. At the end, he paid, of course, and said, "We should do this again. You've got great energy." I told Kyle it went really well and that the guy wanted to connect me to some angel investor. I made up a fake name for him, too. The next week, Zach invited me to drinks. Casual spot in Tribeca, nothing fancy. I wore a black dress I'd been saving. Tight, low cut, no bra. I told Kyle I was going to meet a friend from my yoga certification program who was flying in from Boston. That night, we sat in a dark booth. We ordered whiskey. He leaned in while talking. His hand grazed my leg under the table. Casual, like he was just shifting. I didn't move. After drinks, he offered to call me an Uber. I said sure. He walked me outside, and before I got in, I took my chance as my cousin was supposed to return soon, so I paused and said, "This is probably stupid, but I've been wanting to do this since the beach house." And then I kissed him. He kissed me back. I didn't feel guilty, not even a little. I went home and Kyle was passed out on the couch with a half-written scene on his laptop. I kissed his forehead and went to bed. After that kiss, everything just shifted. It was like this door opened and I stepped into a version of my life that actually felt exciting. Zach and I started texting nonstop. Little things at first. Good mornings, inside jokes, gym selfies he asked for. I'd be on my phone all the time, and Kyle definitely noticed. One night we were on the couch watching some docuseries he picked, and he looked over and was like, "Who are you always texting lately? You're on your phone more than usual." I laughed and said, "This girl from my 2019 yoga retreat, she's launching a studio in Denver. We're bouncing ideas." He nodded kind of slowly, but didn't push it, Dot. That was the first time I realized I had to start being smarter. So I went to a corner store the next day and bought a cheap burner phone. I kept the phone in my gym bag, tucked inside the lining where I kept a travel deodorant and some emergency tampons. He never looked there. After that, it was easy. Thursdays became our thing. Zach would say he had property showings. I'd clear my afternoon calendar and tell Kyle I was seeing a potential branding partner who ran retreats somewhere fancy. We'd meet at hotels, sometimes his office if it was late enough. A couple times, backseat of his car, parked in an underground garage. And honestly, I didn't feel bad. I'd been holding Kyle together for years while he finished a book that's never going to see daylight. Tessa never had to carry anyone. She's had a safety net her whole life. Zach was finally giving me something back, something that felt like mine. And I don't care if that makes me sound selfish. I've watched people like Tessa get everything handed to them for free. I was done waiting around, hoping life would be fair. I didn't steal him. I just stopped pretending she deserved him more than I did. While I was off enjoying my time with Zach, the hotel meetups, the drinks, the little fantasy bubble we were living in, my app was still going nowhere. It was glitchy, the UI was clunky, and the developer I was working with suddenly came back asking for more money. He said something about having to rebuild a bunch of code from scratch because the back end wasn't scalable. Whatever. All I knew was I needed a lot more cash than I had. And I couldn't ask Kyle. Not again. I'd already gone to him a few months earlier, telling him I needed money to pay for the new branding and integration features. He'd told me he didn't have any more to give, that he was already stretching himself thin. I remember I didn't even get mad. I just looked at him and said, "I'm not doing this just for me, Kyle. This is for our future. For us." And then I said it. I hinted at his dad's apartment. He got weirdly quiet, said that's the only thing I have left of him. And I said, "Exactly. So let's use it to build something he'd be proud of. Something real." I cried. I told him I loved him. I told him I would get his dad's place back in a year, max, once the app took off. That this was just temporary. He believed me. He always believed me. So yeah, I knew I couldn't go back to him for money again. Not without blowing everything up. But the thing is, I didn't need Kyle anymore. I had Zach. So one evening, literally right after we hooked up, I was still lying on his stupid fancy linen sheets. I brought it up casually. Said something like, I'm so stressed. My developer just told me he needs $5,000 to fix the interface design because the way the API is structured is apparently garbage. I don't even know what that means. I can't keep burning myself out. Zach looked at me, pulled me in closer, and said, "You want me to help?" I didn't say yes right away. I just said, "I don't want to be that person. I hate asking. I just feel like every time I'm this close, something goes wrong." He said, "Text me the number. I got you." And the next day, the money was in my account, just like that. No questions, no paperwork, no guilt. For the first time in years, I actually felt relieved. Like maybe I could finally have it all. The career, the money, the guy, the life. I really thought I was winning. But then, a week later, it all shifted. Zach started pulling away. He canceled on me one evening. Said Tessa had asked him to go to some dinner thing with her and her mom. "Sorry, babe, I'll make it up to you," was all I got. I stared at that text like it was in another language. He chose Tessa over me after everything? How the hell was that fair? She doesn't even see him. She's just with him because it looks good. She's a trust fund baby playing house and acting like she's built something. And here I was, building from scratch, busting my ass, actually connecting with him, giving him something real, and he bails on me for dinner with her. I don't know why it hit me so hard, but it did, and I couldn't stop thinking about it. If he was already slipping, what was going to happen next? And then it just kept getting worse. He canceled on me again. This time it wasn't just a casual rain check. We had a reservation at this place in NoHo. Expensive, trendy, impossible to get into unless you know someone. I'd picked the dress days ago, shaved my legs, put on perfume. I was literally walking out the door when he texted, "Hey, can't make it. Tessa's not feeling great. I don't want to leave her like this." Like I'm supposed to compete with that? She gets a headache and he turns into a concerned fiancé. Meanwhile, I'm standing in front of the mirror in a silk dress I can't afford, looking like a complete idiot. I didn't go out, I couldn't. I went home. And Kyle was there, just sitting on the couch, working on the same dumb draft he's been almost finishing for 3 years. He looked up and said, "Hey, what's wrong?" And I don't even know what came over me. I snapped. I told him he was what was wrong, that if he wasn't so financially useless, I wouldn't have had to go looking for other options, that I'm tired of carrying everything, that maybe if he had an ounce of ambition, I wouldn't be stuck in this mess. And then I slammed the bedroom door. I waited. I thought he'd come in, wrap me in his arms, apologize for everything he wasn't, and promise to do better. That's what always happened. But this time, he didn't. He grabbed his keys and said, "I need a drink." And he left. I don't even know how long I sat there on the bed. Maybe an hour, maybe more. I just felt alone and stupid and completely out of control. So I told myself I was going to fix it. I wasn't going to lose everything just because Tessa had a weak stomach and a man too spineless to make up his mind. That weekend, Zach asked if we could meet. He said he wanted to talk. I said yes, of course. I acted chill. I told him I missed him, that we should get coffee. I picked out this red dress I bought last month that I'd been saving for something dramatic. Backless, low cut. I curled my hair, wore heels that hurt, and put on lip gloss I knew he liked. We met at his office. He poured me a coffee, we sat on the couch, and I leaned in to kiss him. He turned his head, just like that, like I'd misread the entire room. I pulled back, tried to laugh it off, but he looked serious, quiet. Then he said it. "This has been fun, but I can't keep doing this. I feel like shit. Tessa doesn't deserve it." I just sat there, numb. My ears started ringing. He kept talking, saying something about guilt and clarity and how he needs to recenter. All I could think was, he's really doing this. He's walking away. I'm about to lose everything. So I said it, and I didn't even plan it. The words just came out. "I'm pregnant." He froze. Then he blinked. "Wait, are you serious?" I nodded. "I just found out." Then he asked, and this one stung, "Is it mine?" Like I was some random girl from a bar. Not someone he's been inside for the past 4 months. Not someone he's been saying sweet things to between kisses. I felt myself getting hot, angry, humiliated. I looked him right in the eye and said, "Wow, I can't believe you'd even ask me that. I haven't touched Kyle since this started. I fell in love with you." I started crying, full body, shaking sobs, and it wasn't even all fake. I felt pathetic, desperate, cornered. Zach came over, hugged me, told me he was sorry, that he didn't mean it that way, that he just panicked, that he'd be there for me, that we'd figure this out. I told him I'd be so alone if he left me now. He said, "I won't, I promise, it's going to be okay." That was last week. Since then, it's been a nonstop parade of texts and calls. "Have you been to the doctor yet? Want me to come to your appointment? What's the OB's name again? Are you taking prenatal vitamins? Can I see the test?" I've made up excuse after excuse. First I said I was overwhelmed and needed a few days to sit with it. Then I said the clinic messed up the appointment. Then I told him I had spotting and might have to wait another week before a full confirmation. But he's not letting up. He says he wants to be involved. Says he's going to tell Tessa soon. Says he wants to come with me to the next appointment. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to fake a pregnancy in a way that can hold up if he actually goes to the doctor with me. I don't even know how long I can drag this out. But I can't lose him. I need him. His money, his support, this life I was building. I'm in too deep, and I need help. Has anyone here ever faked something like this? Like actually kept it going long enough for it to work? Please don't judge me. I know how this sounds. I can't go back to where I was before. I don't want Kyle. I don't want that life. I want out. I want Zach. I want the version of my life I almost had. And now I don't know how to keep it. Comment 1. You faked a whole pregnancy and still want tips? Ma'am, this is criminal, not creative writing class. Comment 5. Just admit you want a sugar daddy and a side character storyline. This ain't hustle, it's delusion. Update, 6 months later. So I kind of forgot I even posted here. Honestly, I wasn't expecting the comments to be that brutal, but whatever. I get it. I wasn't exactly a saint. But the way everything blew up, I didn't deserve all that. Y'all think I'm the villain? Wait till you hear how this whole thing actually ended. So yeah, after that last post, I was still trying to figure out how to make the whole pregnancy thing believable. Zach kept asking about appointments, names of doctors, all that. I was dodging every question, telling him the clinic rescheduled, or that I had early spotting and they wanted to wait. I was spiraling. Someone on Reddit told me the only way to keep it going was to buy off a doctor. Like, girl. With what money? I was broke. I was already knee-deep in lies and barely holding it together. But here's the kicker. Zach had already agreed to fund my app. I mean, we signed a whole contract. Legit, his company name on the agreement, a decent amount wired in. I really thought things were turning around. Like maybe I could still come out on top. I even started designing mock-ups for a rebrand. But of course, nothing ever stays good for me for long. About 10 days after that, stuff started going sideways. Zach was acting weird again. I found out later there was some financial mess happening with one of his deals, like real estate documents being rechecked, audits happening across the board, partners getting suspicious. Long story short, one of the accounts tied to his company flagged the transfer to my app. Now here's where Tessa comes in, because of course it's her. She finds some kind of email or doc on Zach's laptop, don't ask me how, maybe she had his passwords, who knows, and sees my name and the funding info. She doesn't confront him. No, she goes to Kyle. Yeah, she shows up at our apartment. I wasn't even there. Kyle texts me, "We need to talk," and I walk in thinking maybe he's finally figured out that I'm not the bad guy here. But no. Tessa's sitting on the damn couch. She brought photos, screenshots, texts she somehow got from Kyle's own phone, stuff I must have sent to Zach when I forgot to delete things off iMessage, even intimate pictures. I still don't know how she got those. She tells Kyle, real calm, real fake smiley, that Zach's been giving me money, that I'm pregnant. And then she looks right at me and says, "But don't worry, we'll get that confirmed soon." Kyle just stands up and walks into our room. No yelling, no speech. Just grabs a duffel bag, throws in a few shirts and his laptop and says, "Don't be here when I come back." That's it. I swear I just stood there for a full minute, frozen, not crying, not angry, just blank. I thought, fine, whatever, let him go. Tessa knows now. That means Zach doesn't have to pretend anymore. We can finally be together. Yeah, that's what I thought. But then a few days later, Tessa texted me saying she made an appointment for me with her OBGYN, said she wanted to make sure everything was medically sound because, in her words, no matter what's going on, a child deserves proper care. Zach showed up at the clinic, too. I didn't even know he was coming. We're all sitting in this cold-ass room. Doctor runs some tests, ultrasound, blood work. Then she looks at me and says flat out, "You're not pregnant, and there's no sign you were recently pregnant either." My stomach dropped. I tried to stammer something, like maybe it was too early, maybe I lost it. I don't even remember what I said. Tessa just smirked, like she knew the whole time, like this was all just entertainment for her. Zach didn't even yell. He just looked at me like I wasn't even a person anymore. Like I was a roach he accidentally stepped on. Then he said, "I never want to see you again." Got up, walked out, left me there in that stupid blue gown, sitting on the edge of the exam table with a paper sheet stuck to the back of my thighs. He didn't even look back. I don't know what happened after that. I heard from someone that he begged Tessa to take him back. Maybe she did. Maybe she didn't. I don't even care at this point. Kyle blocked me. Tessa blocked me. Zach disappeared. His number doesn't even go through anymore. The app's gone. His company pulled out. The whole funding structure got flagged during the audit. Some internal clause triggered a breach of ethics or whatever. No one will touch it now. I'm stuck with an app that doesn't run, a lease I can't afford, and 0 people who will take my call. And no, I'm not saying I was innocent. I know I messed up. But damn, I didn't deserve this. Not like this. A,